think that she has lost victim points. Like, she doesn't know where she can get your pity, because it used to be that everyone was so mean to her on social media, and that's where she could hopefully make you feel sorry for her. But the thing is, now she's on social media all the time. So what is she going to do now? Act like that's a real problem? Social media can't be that big of a problem. She's on it. It can't really be that much of a lion's den. She's engaging in it. So where are you going to feel sorry for her now? Maybe at the place where her husband's so mean. I mean, disinterested, unexcited. Kind of seems like a selfish guy. That's what she has to put up with, even though she gave up everything for him. I think that video was super intentional. Hello, how are you? Welcome to my channel. My name is Cheer Denise. Today I wanted to talk to you a little bit more about Meghan's inability to stop performing. This was something we talked about on Friday, and I did a sizable segment on the fact that she is constantly performing for date night. And then she did a little performance about her family at the pumpkin patch, and she was playing the character of, fun mom. And then she's playing the character of best friend who's going to help her friend launch a book. And we talked about numerous occasions where it seems like it's always about her, but we're always getting the taste that it's not really her real life. That she is casting little scenes for us, casting little opportunities for us to get a little peek into the life of the Duchess. But it always feels so fabricated, which is so surprising to me, because for somebody who spent her working life before Harry as an actress, it would just feel to me like she would be better prepared to present scenes that didn't feel so contrived. And over the weekend, she gave us yet another performance. Although I would say that this performance was more contrived than all the rest put together. So I'm on Instagram, I'm scrolling, I'm always looking for stories that I can save for us to talk about later. And I see that Meghan has posted a new story, right? So I'm like, okay, what's going on with Meghan? And typically over the weekend, she'll post something, especially on Sundays, because she likes to have like Sunday fun day. Like, she always is posting stuff about easy, like Sunday morning. And those of us who go to church and get everyone ready for church knows it's never easy. But anyway, she will often post things regarding that. So I wasn't surprised that over the weekend she posted. But I watched the video and I'm like, literally like, what? I mean, I had no idea what the video was. There was no context to this grainy, gray video that is taken inside of a dark room. And in the video, it depicts Harry sitting in what appears to be their home theater. And he is not looking particularly happy. He's not looking particularly excited. He looks kind of bored, quite honestly. Then we see this character come sort of hobbling into the room, sort of like prancing along towards him. And honestly, if somebody had told me that this was a scene from a horror movie, I would have believed it, because we have this gaunt little character tottering towards him in this long black robe, and we don't see whose face it is. And she comes up to Harry, and she's obviously trying to elicit some kind of response. Her demeanor is almost one of trying to contain her joy before she can explode in this ebullient celebration. But when she goes to him, he does not meet her energy. And so she turns around, she whips around to the other person in the room, whose body we've only been able to see half of. And this person stands up and they start jumping up and down. Like, they act like they've just received the best news of their life. She's just like, yay! And jumping up and down. Harry, meanwhile, is looking on in sort of like bemused boredom, like, there they go again. All right, have at it, you two. Like, that's his whole attitude. And you're just left to wonder, what's that about? Because it's a short clip, but there's nothing written on the screen. There's no indication. Nothing is told to you. There's no before or after story to explain this grainy clip taken in a dark room of Harry refusing to meet his wife's energy and her having to turn to a friend to play act great celebration. So I Googled it. I was like, what's Meghan doing celebrating on Instagram? Well, apparently the LA Dodgers won. Well, she's in her era where she pretends to be a sports fan. So she's super excited and wants to post the fact that she can't contain her joy that her team won. But I'm sitting there thinking, why did you post this? What What it was in the head that made you think, you know what I need to do? I need to set up the fakest celebration of all time. I need to catch my husband totally zoning out and not meeting me where I obviously want him to meet me, and then having to turn to a friend. I'm going to fake pretend to be excited about something. I'm going to watch my husband's actual disdain at my fakery, and I'm going to choose to post that anyway. What is the meaning of this? Okay, so we have like two possible options here. The first option is that she really doesn't get how cringe it is, which is a completely potential option because her entire life is one long cringe session and she still hasn't gotten the message. So it could be that she thought this was a genuinely cute video of her like sneaking in, like trying to contain the joy, and she like creeps up to him, oh my gosh, guess what? And then when he doesn't meet her there, she like turns around and has this great big celebration. And it could just be that she thought this was a really cute video because she thinks she's the cutest, let me just tell you. She just never met anyone as cute as she is. And we saw this on full display on the Dodgers video that she posted where they're at the Dodgers game and she's like being all cute and coy about eating her hot dog. And then when Harry pans over to film her in the seat, she like pulls her ball cap down like, stop filming me. Like she just thinks she's so cute. Her like fake guffaws, every picture we ever see of her, she's always like... I've commented on that multiple times, and so have you. It's something that you know about her. There's never an actual genuine moment. Everything has to be so over-the-top joyful. So for her to celebrate like this is on brand for her, because she's always trying to act like such a happy person, except for like, she also always will simultaneously have such a like serious tone in her interviews and stuff. She seems like she takes life way too seriously. We saw that on full display in the interview that she had with her friend, whose book tour she completely sabotaged.
If you as a hostess are dolled up and dressed up for a really fancy dinner that you're having at your house, well, if you still answer your door barefoot or with your apron on, everyone goes, oh, she's still in this with me. It takes a lot. It just demystifies this pressure and the feeling.
So I'm sitting there thinking, why did you post this? Did you think you were being really cute? Did you think this was a really cute celebration video? I mean, if I were her and I was always trying to sell the notion that me and my husband were like this, you know, he was my ride or die, I don't think I would want to post a video where I clearly came to him wanting to share something with him and he literally refused. I mean, it wasn't as though he wasn't sure what his role there was supposed to be. It's like he was refusing to play the role she wanted him to play. And it could be one of two things. Perhaps they had had a conversation about, hey, wouldn't it be fun to post our excitement? You know, if they win, let's post a video of us being excited about it. And he thought that was dumb. You know, maybe it was like, Harry, I'm going to make a video for Instagram. If they win, let's like post something of us being really excited.
Well, why, Meghan? It's always that way. Why can't we just live life?
Because I said so, Harry. It's important for the people to believe that we're interested in sports.
But Meghan, I don't like baseball. I think it's really dull and boring.
It doesn't matter. You're here in America now, Harry. And it matters to me. And because it matters to me, it should matter to you.
But it doesn't, Meghan. I don't want to do a stupid video. I thought we didn't like social media. Isn't that why we moved here? Because everyone was jumping down our throats on social media and you and I, we were against it. And now every time I turn around, you're posting or coming up with content ideas. And I don't want to be...
I said be quiet, Harry. We're going to do this. So then we see him, like, literally refuse to do this little ploy. And you're just left wondering, why would you show this? Why would you show his inability to meet you where you're at if you guys are your best friends? If you guys are just like this unbelievable love story, why would you post this? Maybe it's so good between them all the time that she doesn't need to prove anything to you, but we know that's not the case. So then my other thought was, either she really thinks this is the cutest video of all time and she thinks she's so cute in it that she's like thinks you're going to be focusing on her cuteness so much you won't notice his disdain. Maybe that was the first reason. Or, and I tend to believe this is the real one, did she post this video wanting you to see that Harry had failed her? Well, why would she do that, you ask yourself? Because she needs to show you that she's even a victim in her own relationship. That here she had given up her acting career, given up everything, was going to be a princess, basically, in the royal family, and then they were such racist wretches that she couldn't stay there. And then she'd come to America where she was so oft misunderstood. And here she is just trying to build a business, be a strong woman. And look who her husband is. Like, she gave up everything for him to be with him. And now here they are. And it's like she had to end up turning to a friend in her moment of excitement because he wasn't there for her. It's so hard being a strong woman, you know, especially if you have a man who's not able to handle your strength. It's really hard when you keep doing everything that you think they want you to do. And then look, this is how they are. He's just not as supportive as he could be. He's supportive a lot of the time, sure, but when it matters, like when the Dodgers win and you just want to have that moment, he just left her hanging. That's what it feels like to me. I don't believe that she thought this was such a cute video of her that she didn't notice that Harry was super distant and super uninterested and super unexcited with her. There's a part of me that believes that she wants pity. I think she's delusional enough to think that her supporters, the ones who love her so much that she really believes are out there, I think she wants them to feel bad for her. That she's like this really sweet homemaker who like loves to have a warm, inviting home and is so unpretentious she walks around without shoes on and sometimes an apron too. I mean, that's who she is. And here she is being Betty Homemaker, and her husband's just so unsupportive, you know? I think that she has lost victim points. Like, she doesn't know where she can get your pity, because it used to be that everyone was so mean to her on social media, and that's where she could hopefully make you feel sorry for her. But the thing is, now she's on social media all the time. So what is she going to do now? Act like that's a real problem? Social media can't be that big of a problem. She's on it. It can't really be that much of a lion's den. She's engaging in it. So where are you going to feel sorry for her now? Maybe at the place where her husband's so mean. I mean, disinterested, unexcited. Kind of seems like a selfish guy. And that's what she has to put up with, even though she gave up everything for him. I think that video was super intentional. And I don't think she minds the chatter about people saying that Harry is unhappy, because I think the way she views it is like, I want you to see this person who is always grumpy and in a bad mood, even though I'm the light in life. She's always talking about what a joyful person she is and how she's just this amazing homemaker and just like this like beating heart of the home. You know, she loves all her friends. She loves her family. She loves gatherings. She loves warmth and happiness and light, joy. And then she's attached to this curmudgeon, you know, it's really hard. She's not like that though, you know, and so I just think that she is pushing this happy homemaker tale all the more because she likes the idea of you being able to be sorry for her on a domestic level now. It's not the domestic bliss that she is trying to provide because he's such a hard person to please, you know? And that's the one that is the victim mentality I think she's shifting into. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense to post that video. And I also think it's really telling that she didn't say what the video was about. She didn't post anything on it to say, I'm so excited the Dodgers won the World Series, or like celebrating the Dodgers. There was nothing on it, no script, no sticker, nothing on that Instagram video to help you know what she was talking about. But I think she definitely doesn't want you to know the context of his disdain, because the message is, look how mean he is to me. So I had to turn to a friend to celebrate with me, to like be there for me because my own husband won't be. If she had said it was about the Dodgers, then a person would be like, maybe he wanted the Blue Jays to win since they're from Canada and he's from England, you know. Maybe he just isn't that into baseball, so the World Series isn't that big of a deal for him. But if she can leave it contextless and you don't necessarily know why he's being a little bit disdainful or uninterested or, you know, annoyed by her excitement, then what you get is, look how mean he is. But not the context of, well, maybe he just doesn't care about the World Series. I think the lack of context was extremely important to this. And I could be totally reading into it. Maybe it really comes down to the fact that she thought she was so cute in this video that she didn't care what his reaction was. She just thought she was a delightful, joyful person, and that's who she wants you to think she is. But I think that it's a delightful, joyful person in contrast to his curmudgeonly attitude. You know, he's just this little troll that sits over there grumpy all the time. And I would bet you anything we're going to see her really lean into this more and more. And, you know, I'm sure that there's a part of her that's already really annoyed with Harry, because I think that she's sitting over there feeling stressed out about the fact that Harry's family's in the news so much right now. What with Andrew no longer being a prince, and he's always been really close to Andrew's daughter Eugenie. And so is she concerned that the disdain from the world towards Andrew will inevitably leak on over to them? Because, of course, their titles have always been in question. Is she concerned that they're going to lose their titles thanks to Harry's pedophile uncle? You know what I mean? Is it going to be a situation where she's kind of looking to show that Harry's the problem in this relationship and she never was? Because we know that one of the reasons Andrew lost his title was that at Beatrice's 18th birthday, Maxwell, Epstein, and Weinstein were all invited to the celebration. But what was recently revealed was that they had also been invited to a much more intimate pre-drinks gathering at Royal Lodge before the party even started, indicating that Andrew was really close with these three questionable individuals. And when that came out, that really was a precursor to Andrew being stripped of his actual titles. As that was revealed, it was like, you've got to be kidding me. Like, you are so close with these people that they're coming to your daughter's birthday, but even more than that, they're coming to the intimate gathering beforehand. Stop lying to us and saying these people didn't matter to you. They were some of your best friends. So it could be that Meghan is wanting to distance herself even from Harry in a way and just start planting the seeds that he is a problem. If you think there's a problem with the royal family, and any of those problems could leak over to her, it's not her. She's a joyful homemaker. It's Harry and his ilk. It's them. They're the problem, you know, but she is just a happy American excited about the World Series and making her next pot of jam, you know. Speaking of her products, I know we talked a little bit on Friday about the products. We talked about the $62 candles. I don't even think I told you the price of that. I did erroneously tell you that the jam box was $48 when it was actually $42. It makes no difference to me. Jam should not be in the 40s, okay? I'm not paying $40 for any kind of jam, unless there's gold flakes in it, in which case, why would I do that? But as I was looking over some of her products this past weekend, because I thought that the video that she was celebrating was because I was like, did somebody finally want to buy your $62 candle? Did somebody decide to buy that trinity of jam? Like, what is the celebration? I thought it had to do something with As Ever. I found out that it didn't, but it put me down the rabbit hole of actually looking at all these products. Like, I had scrolled through to see like, oh, what is she selling? But I didn't read the actual descriptions of the items. You guys, comedy gold. I have to read a couple of these descriptions to you guys. Either AI wrote it or they hired somebody from 8th grade to write it, and they gave the child a couple of buzzwords to use. This is some of the worst writing I've ever seen in my life. I mean, a lot of it doesn't even make sense. And I just could not believe that anyone who took themselves seriously, who wanted to have a serious website, who wanted to sell serious products, were still selling things in this manner. You know, it's very interesting. I always enjoy the write-ups about things. I always enjoy seeing the way merchandising and advertising are shifting and changing over the years. But this has like a super 80s read to it. Like, you remember on Seinfeld when Elaine starts working for the J. Peterman catalog and the write-ups that they would do for each item in the catalog?
Oh. This innocent-looking shirt has something which isn't innocent at all. Touchability. Heavy, silky Italian cotton, a fine, almost terry cloth-like feeling. 5-button placket, relaxed fit. Innocence and mayhem at once.
This is J. Peterman all over. That is what these descriptions are. They are so overly romanticized. They are trying desperately to pull you into some kind of picture of domestic bliss. it's already asking too much for people to jump into this world of fantasy with Meghan at the helm and a $62 candle as the finish line. But added to the flowery, sort of over romanticized vision, the writing itself is catastrophic. Let's start with some of these candles, because the very concept of these candles offends my sensibilities. She has introduced 2 candles, both of them $64. I think I've been saying 62, $64. And these holiday candles are based off of, who do you think? Meghan. She has 2 candles. The first candle is called number 084. And I'm thinking, 084? Like, why do you have a candle like, how many candles did you have to make? Were there 83 iterations of this before? And then as I was reading the description, I realized that she named both of the candles numbers that coincide with specific important dates to her, namely her birthday and her wedding day. So candle number 084 has notes of lotus, sandalwood, and California poppy. Okay. All right. And this is the description. Our scent of home, elegant and earthy. The warm welcome of As Ever number 084 is the signature scent that warms Meghan's family home, and its numbers nod to the birthday of our founder, who created and curated the As Ever collection with love, intention, and care. Her birthday, August 4th. With notes of freshwater lotus, earthy sandalwood, and California poppy, number 084 is our elegant, effortless, and warm welcome to the As Ever candle collection. Hand poured into our elegant ceramic vessel, number 084 fills the air with fragrant sweet wood, delicate florals, and California wildflowers for an elevated coziness that feels like a hug. Each candle in the series reflects a memory or mood connected to Meghan's own rituals and joyful memories. Okay, let's start with the first problem here. What is the deal with this sentence right here? First of all, a run-on like you would not believe. But right here, a warm welcome of As Ever number 084 is a signature scent that warms Meghan's family home, and its number nods to the birthday of our founder, who created and curated the As Ever collection with love, intention, and care. Her birthday, August 4th. What? Have they ever seen the use of a colon ever? Has anyone ever explained to them the use of the colon? What are they doing with a colon in the middle of this? And what does her birthday, August 4th, have to do with anything that preceded what we just read? And then down here, they're explaining the hand poured and the delicate florals and the sweet wood and the coziness. And then they say, it feels like a hug. It's so cliche. Feels like a hug. Here we are stretching ourselves. We're so determined to write something meaningful. And then we settle on, it feels like a hug. It's really shocking to me, because this is the person who posted pictures of herself poring over the boxes that were going to contain her cookies. Poring over the boxes of the shortbread cookies. You know, acting like every word that came out of her company was pre-approved by her. And then we get sentences that run on and on and on that have sudden colons with extra info that has nothing to do with anything, and cliches such as, this candle feels like a hug. They overexerted themselves on that run-on sentence and then just ran out of steam, I guess, towards the end. Okay, but let's look at the other candle, okay? Remember, these are holiday candles, so you would think that they might have something to do with the holidays, right? Wouldn't it make sense? You know, I mean, I don't know why we're releasing a candle about Meghan's birthday when it's Christmas time. She really does think of herself as our savior, doesn't she? Anyway, she wants it to be about her birthday, forget Jesus. And she also wants it to be about her marriage, okay? Because the other candle is called number 519. Again, these candle numbers have nothing to do with the number of failures that preceded this final iteration, which is what I initially thought. This is all about the dates, and she was married on May 19th, so the candle number is 519. The description here, okay. Our signature scent, modern and elegant, love at first sight. Number 519 is a feeling of warm sunshine and blue skies surrounded by love and laughter. This signature candle is inspired by the ease and joy of a day that holds Meghan's most cherished memories, her wedding day, May 19th. bright and refreshing, with quietly grounding notes of Moroccan mint leaf, white tea leaves, and a back note of woodsy cardamom. Number 519 fills the room with a soothing, welcoming fragrance that remains our founder's tried and true favorite. Housed in a beautiful ceramic vessel, this candle is hand-poured in California. A refreshing scent to rise with, like a cup of mint tea, and to relax with, like the warm company of the ones you love. Number 519 evokes the freshness of a day in the English countryside, a long walk in the garden, and a spirit of happiness that is hard to resist. I feel like she hasn't been in England for a minute if Moroccan mint leaf and cardamom are how she remembers the British countryside. Cardamom? Moroccan mint? Interesting notes to remind you of Old England. I'm just wondering who her marketing team is. Who is she hired for advertising? Who is her copywriter for these things? Doesn't this all feel really dated and like tired? Like, coming up with these little stories, like trying to evoke these images in your mind, it's working so hard. And I just don't know if people are brought to the table with these kinds of wordy, pathetic jabs at inspiring emotion. I just think there are better ways to sell things now, and this ain't it. I mean, I think she would have been better off with fewer words, I think is what I'm trying to say. Okay, but before I let you go, we need to read about the sage honey with the honeycomb. Okay, this is really important because not only is it bad writing, but it's factually incorrect. She writes about the sage with honeycomb, crafted with love and made to be shared. This 100% California harvested honey, kissed with sage, is a sweet reminder to pause and savor the moment. Minimally processed to retain its delicate sage blossom notes and natural sweetness, this is our most Epicurean honey. Its earthy, grounding flavor lends itself beautifully to savory dishes, while its gentle sweetness adds an elegant and elevated touch to desserts and light bites. Reminiscent of warm days spent tending to the abundant varieties of sage growing in her own garden, this honey holds a special place in Meghan's heart. With a silky texture and glimmering golden hue, it's a true gift from nature. The edible raw honeycomb nestled inside is harvested at its peak for texture and flavor, adding an extra giftable quality to this very special jar. My number one problem with this: there's not a time to harvest honey. Not like when you go into the frozen food section and they're all bragging about picked at the peak of freshness to lock in that flavor. What are you talking about? The edible raw honeycomb nestled inside is harvested at its peak for texture and flavor? This is honey. The only thing I know about when it comes to honey, and you know what? Maybe there's some little bit in here that I don't get because I don't keep bees. If you keep bees, okay, do you know what she's talking about? I do know there's not a specific time when you're supposed to harvest. It's not like, oh, it's fall time, better harvest that honey. I know that the honeycomb has to be capped by wax. You know, it's like the majority of it needs to all be capped because then you know that the consistency is correct. So I know that part. So I guess that would be a better indicator as when to harvest it. But this phrase, it's been harvested at its peak for texture and flavor. What does that mean? What does that mean for the honeycomb? You know what I mean? It just seems like they're putting things together that seem like, oh, well, you got to harvest honey and you harvest vegetables. So I'm going to use the same terminology that I would for harvesting fruits and vegetables as I would for harvesting honey. But it's like a completely different concept. I don't know. Beekeepers in the comments, do you know what she's talking about? And then also this business about like, this reminds Meghan of when she's over there tending all her varieties of sage. How many varieties of sage does one need? You know what I'm saying? It's like, is she growing sage because she's constantly trying to ward off demons by smoking the sage throughout her house? Like, how much sage does the woman need? Multiple varieties of it? I don't understand. We could go on and on. Every single one of these descriptions is so nauseating. It's almost unbelievable that she let this go. It is unbelievable that she let this go out under her name. If somebody handed me this bundle of scraps of paper and was like, could you read this copy to see if it's okay? I'd have thrown it in the fire immediately. You got to be kidding me with this. I also think it's really interesting that both candle descriptions follow the same pattern, although with one of them, the run-on sentence that ended with the date that was significant to the candle, we used a dash instead of a colon, which is more appropriate. And also the one with the dash, we were leading up to the statement about the date. Whereas in the other description, where we're rattling off a bunch of random stuff, and then we have a colon, and then we have the date, I'm interested that both of these candle descriptions follow the same format, but then one of them completely fails in the mechanics while as the other one doesn't. It's like, did anybody proofread these? What was happening there? Probably I'm like the only person that read these, so maybe it really doesn't matter. Nobody reads the descriptions, I guess. You just see what the scent of the candle is. And so maybe that's all that people needed. But honestly, I think that's all they should have written. Like, just tell me what the scent is. I don't need this long drawn out story about the founder likes to wander around in her garden with the sage. And the founder thinks about warm English afternoons when she smells the cardamom and the Moroccan mint. Like, save yourself the effort of these write-ups because they are painfully bad. They only degrade my concept of what this company is. I just don't know why Meghan pretends to try so hard, and in the actual execution of a thing, it's just so fraught with issues. To me, if she just would never go on and on about how she's such a detail-oriented person and nothing can leave until it's absolutely perfect, and that's probably like one of her flaws, is that she does tend to do this thing where she makes everything have to be perfect. She probably is like hurting herself by having to be such a perfectionist. I wish that she would give us a little bit less of that talk so that when she does do things like, not know how to use the tool for taking a jar out of hot water, or she tells us that she's super concerned about reading all the copy, but then we get wonky sentences with incorrect punctuation. Like, if she'd never told me she cared so much about the details, I wouldn't then be called to notice every time something's colossally wrong. But this constant yammering on about the details. What are you talking about? You don't care about the details? I can see you don't. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today. Lots of things planned for us this week, so I will see you guys later. Have a great one. Bye.